tonight. Families campaigning against the removal of home-to-school transport for learners with special needs or disabilities.
The emotional toll it's going to take on the whole family, and I think this whole thing is targeting the most vulnerable people.
The local authority says it faces difficult choices in an effort to save money. Hello, thank you for your company. First tonight, parents in Leeds say cuts to transport for young people with special educational needs will have a devastating impact. The decision will effectively remove home-to-school transport for learners with special educational needs or disabilities going into further education from September. The council says it has to make changes to save money and would be offering independent travel training and personal travel allowances where appropriate. But campaigners say that won't fix the issue, as Ollie Constable now reports.
The emotional toll it's going to take on the whole family, and I think this whole thing is targeting the most vulnerable people.
Lorna is one of many parents who's already worried about the new school term in September. Her son Josh is starting his post-16 education, but the free bus to help get him to a specialist school is ending.
Josh has Down syndrome and autism and anxiety. The only option we're going to have is to take him ourselves. It amounts to I calculated it, 71 days unpaid. So one of us is going to have to go part-time.
Leeds City Council had a consultation and decided to cut the service to save £800,000, affecting students at sixth forms and colleges, such as Joanna's son.
I feel for Freddie, it's just sad that the little bit of independence that he has going on the school bus, which is such a big part of his school day, is going to be taken away. I would love him to be able to get the public bus, but it's just not possible. It's not safe.
We're just a very small number of parents and carers who are going to be impacted by this policy. When Leeds City Council did their equality, diversity and inclusion impact assessment, they have calculated that there are over 1,000 children and young people who are going to be affected by this policy.
The council says free bus passes or even some money to go towards their own travel arrangements might be offered to some students, decided on a case-by-case basis. The council told us these changes only apply to new applicants, and there are transition arrangements in place for those who currently get transport. They said they remain committed to supporting young people with special educational needs and disabilities in accessing education, which could include offering discretionary assistance. But parents feel they're still not being listened to and want to show the council how devastating a decision this would be for young people and their families.
I would love Lyle to be on school transport. I would love Lyle to be able to get on a bus. I would love Lyle to be able to do lots of things. But I celebrate the things that Lyle can do because he's an amazing kid and an amazing young man. And I think it's making families who are already on the edge tip over that edge. And it's going to make things far, far more difficult for parents who are already struggling massively.
Ollie Constable with that report. Well, earlier I spoke to Una Summerson from the charity Contact, which works with families of disabled children. I asked her why school transport is so important.
Well, school transport for disabled students, it gives young people an opportunity to have some sense of independence. Really importantly, it helps their parents be able to work and to look after other children. It's really an extension of the school day. It's absolutely vital. And so it's really upsetting for many, many families when all of a sudden their child at 16, their transport just vanishes.
And what is the longer term impact without that transport?
Well, what we're hearing from school leaders is it's affecting school attendance. In some cases, it means that young people can't continue with their education. But often what happens is the responsibility falls to their parents. And that can mean that a parent has to reduce their hours, they have to give up careers. It makes family life much more difficult and really adds stress. And what we know is that some families are being charged thousands of pounds for what was previously free council provided transport, and this is having a massive financial impact on them when they have all sorts of other higher costs compared to other families.
Do you have any sympathy for the local authorities, though? Because clearly in the case of Leeds here, money is tight and there are other priorities, aren't there?
Yeah, we completely see that councils like Leeds are in a really tough situation. Their budgets for many years have been pressured, and I know that many have tried to protect transport for disabled students. But what we think is, we don't think that disabled students should have to bear the brunt of council pressures, and so that's why we're calling on the government to create a much more fairer system for disabled students, so that councils can get the funding, so they don't have to cut back on really vital transport for disabled students.
OK, Una Summerson, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.